Welcome back, everybody. Today we have the BougeRV Rocky 40 dual zone portable mini fridge. And in today's video, I'm going to go over all the features of this mini fridge as well as this expansion battery that can be used to extend its off-grid capability. And if you're considering purchasing a mini fridge in 2024, there are multiple options out there that have an expansion battery just like the Rocky 40. So if you're starting there, I definitely recommend that you get something with one of those expansion batteries. That way you have the full capability of the mini fridge, because that makes these mini fridges much more suitable for your everyday traveler with a car or truck that wants to put a mini fridge like this in their vehicle, plug it into the 12 volt DC outlet, and then let that expansion battery run it in between your travels while never necessarily needing to get something like a larger portable power station. And the Rocky 40 is the smallest in BougeRV's latest lineup, which includes the 40, the Rocky 50, the Rocky 65, and the Rocky 75. The Rocky 40 comes in at 39 liters or 41 quarts of capacity. One of the main new features of this Rocky 40 is a lot of its surface is stainless steel, which is easy to clean and resistant to fingerprints. All of the touch points, the plastics do feel durable in quality, as well as the handle, which is very easy to open and easily removable, so you can change the direction of the lid's opening. Inside of the fridge, the right-hand side can be either the freezer side or the fridge side. Now, the left-hand side can also be a freezer side, but it cannot be a lower temperature than the right-hand side because this side is closer to the compressor. If you wanted to make this a single unit or a single zone mini fridge, you simply remove the divider and the fridge will automatically sense that the divider is removed and convert it to a single-use fridge or a single-zone fridge. Inside the right-hand side, there is a small basket, and the basket, interestingly, has this L shape that conforms to the shape of the freezer side. So if you do want to pull this out to load it and maybe transport goods in and out of your vehicle without having to move the entire fridge, these baskets are in excellent shape to achieve that. In its dual zone configuration, this right-hand side is approximately 1.5 times bigger than the left-hand side. So if you do plan to use this in a freezer fridge mode, then your freezer side will be larger than your refrigerator side. Now, this mini fridge is designed so that you can change the orientation of the lid. It's very easy, however, it does require quite a bit of force in my testing. So the way I've been achieving that is I open the fridge to approximately 90 degrees from the lid, and then I'm gonna tap it a little bit to the right, and then lift. One side of the fridge does have a notched cutout, while the other side of the fridge has a hole. So you can only lift the lid from the one side. The good thing is, if you're not sure which side, both of the notches that are cut out are on the same side of the fridge. So check the fridge's cutouts before you attempt to remove the lid. And once you decide the orientation you want for the fridge, go ahead and start that notch on that side, give it a little bit of a tap, and the fridge is good to go. In addition to the Rocky series stainless steel siding, it has spring-loaded handles that return quickly back to their resting position. Another feature that you may find extremely useful, especially if you're into something like tailgating, is this bottle opener on the side of the fridge. There are actually 4 ways that you can deliver power to the Rocky series. The first way is through a 100-watt solar panel that will plug into this 5521 barrel input. Next, you can power this fridge directly off of a 12 volt DC outlet, for example, the outlet from your car. This is not only a 12 volt outlet, but this will also work for 24 volt systems. The third way is this AC adapter, which can receive 100 to 240 volts, and it will convert it to around 14.4 volts output. And then the final way to power this fridge, which I'm most excited to see, is through this 173 watt hour detachable battery. Installing the detachable battery is very easy. You simply remove by pushing these 2 tabs, this battery door cover, and then make sure that the battery is oriented correctly with the word BougeRV facing as you would read it from standing up. push it in, and to lock it in place, squeeze these two tabs, push the battery in firmly, and then release it. One way that you'll know that the battery is inserted correctly is when you hold the power button for approximately 3 seconds, the fridge will give you that beep indicating that it knows that it has power. Now if I wanted to, I can hit the power button on the fridge and it will turn on. Note that this fully charged detachable battery will show 12.3 volts on it. In addition to that, when you run this mini fridge with the detachable battery, you will want to put its battery protection mode on this low setting. BougeRV claims that this detachable battery will run this fridge for about 10 hours in refrigeration mode or about 4 hours in freezing mode. Later in the video, I'm going to fill the fridge with drinks. I will then cold soak it, making sure it is then running in a fully cooled state. And then I will see, do I get 10 hours of runtime from this battery or not? As always, if you're running a fridge like this, I highly recommend that you prepare all of your items, get them cooled off, run it off of the AC outlet as long as possible, and then when you're ready to go off grid, you disconnect it and connect it to the 12 volt in your car, if of course you're running it from your car's 12 volt outlet. It's been about 3 days since I started this video, and what I have done in the meantime is filled this fridge to the top with water bottles. And the reason I've done that is to sort of stabilize the internal temperature of the fridge for the battery capacity rundown test. Now, if I just left air or did not put anything in here, air does change temperature a lot quicker than water. So I'm hoping that this will help the fridge run at its best. And this goes back to me saying that when I run these fridge tests or when I use these fridges outside, I try to get them down to operating temperature as much as possible to optimize them for that outdoor adventure. Now, what I'm gonna do to start this test is at the same time, I'm gonna turn off the AC wall outlet by unplugging it. And I'm gonna hit start on this timer right here. And I have a time lapse going on another phone that you guys can see right here in the screen as well. And then while that test runs, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you a little bit more about the features of the mini fridge. So let's get started. So one thing I'm gonna do a little different is I just recently watched the Professor Hobo or Hobo Tech review of the same series of fridge. He did have a taller version of it, but the compressor and the internal workings are about the same with a bigger internal volume. And he did his test in refrigerator and freezer mode. So kind of like I have it set up right now. He got about 275 watt hours in 12 hours of consumption or 550 watt hours in a 24-hour time period. And what I'm gonna do is transfer this over to a single zone by removing this panel right here. When I remove this panel, the fridge automatically converts into a single zone fridge. And then now I'm not gonna open that anymore until after this test has concluded. The temperature inside of my studio right here is about 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which is kind of your standard temperature for these kinds of tests. So if you're in a hotter environment, expect to use more power, obviously, and if you're in a colder environment, expect to save a little bit more power. So the dimensions of the fridge are as follows. Using my trusty 20-year-old tape measure, it's about 28 inches wide, 16 inches tall, and 18 inches deep. The other sizes of this Rocky fridge are essentially the same footprint with the same compressor, same internal components. However, they do get taller as they go. So that means that that 28 inches wide and 18 inches deep is a good measurement for all of those fridges. Before this runtime test goes any further, I am going to go ahead and set the refrigerator from max mode to eco mode to give that battery the maximum runtime possible. I'm going to do that by hitting that settings button twice, and that allowed me to enter eco mode. If I want to change the refrigerator's operating temperature, I can hit either the plus or minus button once to turn on the menu, and then I just up it, increase it or decrease it as necessary. For this runtime test, I did choose an internal temperature of 36 degrees Fahrenheit. Usually with these mini fridges, they will run at plus or minus about 2 degrees from that temperature. So somewhere around 36, 38, or 40 degrees, the compressor will kick on and it will run until it lowers that temperature back down to that 36 degrees Fahrenheit. I chose 36 degrees Fahrenheit because that is typically what is considered an ideal refrigerator temperature. This is essentially as cold cold as you can get without really starting to freeze anything such as water or any other beverages that you have inside of your cooler. If you have any questions about the settings or details of this mini fridge, make sure you check out the link in the video description. The results from this rundown test are genuinely surprising. And I think the main reason for that is that I did pre-cool this mini fridge filled to the top with water drinks. And so all of that water in there does retain its temperature very stable versus the air. So air will get hot or cold much quicker than water. And because of that, I got some very amazing results from this battery rundown test. So for that 173 watt hour battery, I got a total of 36 hours and 42 minutes of runtime from this mini fridge. So the fridge was completely full of drinks, started it on Saturday morning, and I intended to finish this video a day or two earlier. However, the fridge just kept going and going, and I kept coming and looking at those results, expecting this thing to be dead, but it just kept going. If you found my video useful, please give it a thumbs up, and a sub to the channel would be chilling. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.